Suicide Squad, issue 1, Tom Taylor writing with Bruno Redondo on the art. So we have an in-continuity Tom Taylor book in DC, which is a cause for celebration. And
it's finally happening.
Here's what I'm going to say, right? So I have never been a big Suicide Squad guy. I tried the New 52 issue 1, I tried the Rebirth issue 1, and I've never felt compelled to stick around past a first issue. And to me, this issue is just proof. It's the proof that it doesn't matter what the character or property or team is, that if you give it to Tom Taylor, he will write an issue that makes me want to keep reading.
That's fair. I will say, I think none of us have really read the classic Suicide Squad stuff, right? Unless Matt has. So, and I get that's probably more well regarded than the other stuff. In terms of Suicide Squad I've read that I have enjoyed, there was like 4 issues by Alice Cott in the middle of the New 52 stuff. That was great. And then editorial happened and he had to leave. So, it is possible from other writers as well, is what I'm saying. Even though Tom Taylor is clearly a king amongst writers.
I never really meant to imply that no other writers can't do it.
Tom Taylor, King Tom of writers. Is that what Connor was saying? Was that a dig?
It wasn't intended to be, but I realize how it can be interpreted as such.
So, and I think this is the key here, is I feel like a lot of the Suicide Squad from the past has been these, Island of Misfit Toys type characters where, no one's doing anything with them, so you hand them over to the Suicide Squad writer and they become completely expendable. Here, though, I think that Taylor took time to introduce these new characters, and when he merges them with the Suicide Squad, it gives the team a different vibe. Because these are characters that we kind of know that from their interpersonal stuff early on, mixing with like Deadshot and Harley Quinn characters we're pretty familiar with. So when something does happen to one of the new characters, it does feel like, oh, this is legit. They don't, because they're all expendable, but you're not sure which one, right?
Yeah, because clearly some of these characters are going to survive and be main characters in the book for a long time, presumably. But you don't know which ones because they're all new. They're either all completely dead very quickly, or some of them are going to survive.
And I know he said when this was announced that no one's safe, but I can kind of guess Harley's the one that I don't think he can actually kill.
I suspect he would not be allowed to kill Harley.
Yeah,
maybe Deadshot as well.
I say, but I could see Deadshot going. I could see that being
I think he's
end of this.
Could be a big surprise that they'd allow him to do. None of the, I think any of the others are fair game. Really.
Right. Yeah. And Zebra Man. I don't think he's, I think Tom Taylor likes writing Zebra Man just because it's a hero called Zebra Man. I'm gonna think they're relatively safe for now.
I'm so into Cavalier.
yeah, Cavalier.
Well, Cavalier does not last all this issue, so good luck with that.
I'm really into these. The what are they? Not the Renegades.
This rebellious group of younger superpowered people who are.
But also, when you have a large muscled woman named Osita, which is a Spanish word for a bear.
Of course it is.
I'm not gonna not like her.
So basically there's this general or whoever, he's at I don't know.
It's a submarine launch in Australia.
Was it launching? I couldn't remember if it was a launch or decommission, but
of course it's Australia.
Right. And basically, this superpowered person, Wink, shows up and sort of teleports him out of the sky with her, and then this flying guy. We get obviously there's a page here where it sort of explains most of these main team members. I love
Airy.
Now it doesn't last very long. He's dead by the end of the issue. But TN I think is a great name for an exploding person.
on the Airy, I think is interesting in something in this setup here. Every other character that's introduced from this team, we learn their power and where they're born. The Airy is the only one that doesn't say where they're born, and I think that might become relevant at some point.
I think it will too. But yeah, I like Jog because he's a speedster, but only in limited bursts. I think that's a fun twist on that type of stuff. And then you have Chaos Kitten, which from Hong Kong and is a fighter, and it shades a Wildcat to me.
Yeah,
right. So
that.
I like that.
Yeah, well, it just establishes that there are going to be occasionally some of these members that don't have powers. Like just like any other superhero team in the DC universe, there's usually one or two that don't have powers. So it sets up these characters, and we spend the first half of the issue getting to know them, and they're kind of these like activists who are taking. So they're not like super villainous in the same way that like a lot of the other Suicide Squad characters are. This isn't like Deadshot who's like a hitman or whatever. These are characters who are going out there and they're taking over vessels and whatever. Now, admittedly, maybe they have some nefarious plans with the vessel, but it never really felt necessarily quite like that to me so far.
They are called the Revolutionaries. Like they have a point of.
It was all
they're
like
doing this for a cause.
Nuclear weapons was on one of these submarines. It was a nuclear launch, and they were like, "No, we don't want any more of these in the world. No. We're taking this off your hands."
Yeah. So TNT blows up the others, like the partnership, and we meet the two fishy ones, Scale and Finn, who are both Atlantean and telepathic.
Right, they're definitely from the Sixth Stride, right?
Yeah, they have that look to them. Yeah. So I want to give this a fair bit of credit for making me kind of into some of these characters in a very short amount of time. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the thing that Tom Taylor's the best at more than anything else is just writing characters that you enjoy reading and are kind of into their story, even when you don't get a whole lot with them. And I felt that with multiple things. I felt that with his X-Men Red. It wasn't very long in All New Wolverine where I was caring so much about Laura and Gabby. Like, he does this time and time again. And of course we cut then to the Suicide Squad and we're introduced to Locke, who is the new leader of the Suicide Squad. He's taken over from Amanda Waller, who we later find out is
that's
quitting.
That's what he thinks. Yeah. But
well, sure, yes. I mean, we could speculate.
Waller never does anything she doesn't want to do.
That said, she does seem very, like, I don't know. Like, maybe this again is just her playing it up, but she does seem very upset about the whole thing the whole time. She's very quiet and like somber, and like it's like a forced, it's like she's resigning, but she's been forced to resign. It kind of has that feeling to it. But we have Magpie, the Shark, Zebra Man, Cavalier, obviously Deadshot and Harley, and they've been sent in. None of the Justice League teams can go in to deal with this. None of the armies can go in to deal with this, so they're sending in this team. I like them making fun of Cavalier, Deadshot and Harley telling me shut up.
This is why I was like, I'm into Cavalier. He's trying so hard, bless him.
I actually also really like when Harley's talking to Zebra Man. Like, why are you Zebra Man? The theme, like, were you bitten by a radioactive zebra? No. Are your powers zebra based? No. Do you just really like zebras? Never really thought about it.
You've never what?
Yeah, so I'm looking up his origin, and it's such silver-aged silliness. His I guess his official powers is he has magnetic powers, which here it's more of a telekinesis because that's what
it does say controls magnetism though.
Oh, that is right there, isn't it? Telekinesis, force field, controls magnetism, stripey.
Yeah, all of these things sound very zebra-like, don't they?
Yeah. So
I mean, hey, to be fair, stripey is.
Yeah.
Credit where it's due.
Yeah.
He's got the.
But I like it. I like that Magpie. She's just like, I just steal things. This is way out of my league.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really like Magpie as a villain. Whenever she pops up, I think she's always pretty enjoyable.
Well, don't get too attached.
You did. You liked her.
Yeah,
I did.
So we cut back to the young revolutionaries. They're chatting and whatever. And there's the couple that are flying up in the sky, and the winged one gets shot in the wing, and it's okay. Deadshot's around. And then the shark, grabs one of the Atlanteans, and that's a great. Like, the art's really good in this. I thought the art was really solid.
This is the team that did Injustice, which goes to some really messed up places, and just the 4 issues of it that I've had the time to read. This wastes no time.
Oh, absolutely. There's some great violence here. The shark rips him in half, biting him. That's not my favorite panel in the book, though. My favorite. So Magpie gets killed by one of the other characters in the ship.
Scene.
Yeah. But the best part of this, absolutely, is Cavalier shows up. He thinks he's all going to, he's on guard. He's like here to, do this. And I like the cat girls like, you want me to be on my guard? Why? Like, we're fighting.
Right.
But basically, the big woman sneaks up behind him. She's got the bionic arm, the Terminator arm.
Yeah, buddy.
And now, admittedly, we're not doing our favourites of the week at the end of this episode because we're going to have to wait until we do all the books, and we'll do them at the end of the next episode. But if it wasn't for Doomsday Clock Week, this metal fist going through the face with the eyeballs flying away from it might be my panel of the week.
It's a strong contender in any other week.
Yeah, this is freaking beautiful. Locke makes Deadshot shoot everyone with these sort of not like lethal bullets, and we find out right after that this is basically the neck implants,
Right.
but just delivered by bullet. So Locke comes down, and the whole ruse here was that he wants to recruit the rest of all these people into his own Suicide Squad, and that he's going to reshape the Suicide Squad so he can reshape the world, and this team will be the most badass thing ever. And he blows up TNT to prove his point. Because there's always one, right? There's always one. I need to prove that this can happen. So
and he's been studying. So TNT's a lot like a Human Bomb from Freedom Fighters, where he has to charge it up. And because he had already, the last 2 days he hadn't been charged, they make safe. But he wasn't, because you can't blow up a guy that his powers to blow up if he's not charged for it.
I think it was also as well the idea of, okay, he is uncontrollable, right? As opposed to all the others, bombing them will do the trick. Not this guy.
Yeah, he can clearly survive an explosion.
Right. So boom, make an example of him.
He has the explosion. Maybe he can't survive the explosion because he just killed him with the explosion.
He can't survive the explosion when he's not ready for it. It's not his explosion. But the idea of if he just let this guy wait until he was charged up, and then he could just blow him up, and
they would take him out.
Yeah,
it would take Locke out of the equation.
Yeah,
right.
So
I think it was self-preservation. More than anything.
So that's kind of where we end the book. It's like, you all work for me now, and that's it. So I thought this was an excellent first issue. I think this did so many, it introduced so many characters, made me kind of, I mean, I don't necessarily remember all the names yet or anything like that, but it made me like them all well enough in terms of ensemble. It gave me some fun stuff with Harley and Deadshot. It set up this new dynamic. We've got this new status quo with this new guy taking over the team. No one's happy about it, including, because even the original Suicide Squad was like, you know what, Amanda Waller, we hate your guts, but I don't at least know who you are, and I feel like I know how to play the game with you.
Right. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yeah. So I really like that aspect of it. I thought the art was extremely solid throughout. I think it's very clean. It feels...
I shout out to the colorist as well, whoever that is, Adriana Lucas. Some great clean colors. I love the way the waves on the sea are done. When we get onto the inside stuff with Magpie and the red and all the silhouette, it's great.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Taylor's never afraid to show someone dying. We didn't actually see Magpie die. We just see that she goes off the monitor.
Yeah, well, I just read that more. It was less of a misdirect and more it was going for that classic horror thing where the person sneaks up behind her and it just cuts to the flat line, on the monitor. Yeah. Like, it was going for almost the spooky.
I agree. I think she
tactic.
Is dead. I think it was that. But I mean, it's open if they want to bring her back.
Yeah. Right. So I have never been this enthusiastic about a Suicide Squad book ever, and Taylor I trust. Yeah. So his Spider-Man book just got cancelled at Marvel, so there's every possibility Taylor might be, and he's because he's doing Deceased 2 and he's doing Suicide Squad. Now that's two DC books at least ongoing for a little bit. So hopefully this means that Taylor will be more in the DC camp.
I would say lock him in for an exclusive, but I want him to keep doing Star Wars books.
He can be exclusive. I'm okay with that. I'm A-okay with that. Give him...
Yeah, because all of those, I do, as much as I like Pack and Hauser, I do think the Taylor ones in the Resistance were a little bit better. Yeah, he's very good at one-shots. Like, it's, like, it takes a special
one of the
kind
best
of...
writers out there, yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's not to say his issue-to-issue stuff, his arcs aren't good as well, but from the stuff that we've seen thus far, I mean, look at that Detective Comics we just read. Yeah,
I mean, I'll stand by it. Tom Taylor for Detective Comics when Tomasi's done, or hell, kick him off soon. Like, no need to wait.
Yeah, let Tomasi ride out the rest of the year, do his and then start in 5G, bring in Taylor.
Sure, yeah, but
I'm down for like a Taylor Tynan on Batman and Tech.
But we'll see. I mean, it depends. I mean, who's Batman at that point? Is it like,
who cares? Taylor will make it shine no matter what.
Oh, sure, but I'm saying I also would quite like, Bruce Wayne Batman from Taylor, so... We can
I
start
want Dick
before then.
Grayson Batman from Taylor.
I would take Dick Grayson Batman from Taylor too. That is true.
I will take any Batman from Taylor. I'm quite happily.
Oh yeah, Jason Todd, sure, really.
In Taylor we trust.
Oh, okay, all right.
Battle for the Cowl by Tom Taylor.
I'm in.
Yeah.
You can basically
that could
put
be
anything by Tom
Elseworlds.
Taylor, and I'm there.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, Matt, what are you rating Suicide Squad number 1?
I'm gonna give this an 8. It's super solid. But yeah.
Connor?
I'm going to give it a 9, just because I didn't expect to be able to care about a lot of these characters. There's so many new characters in the first issue, and I care about...
Osita rules.
Exactly.
Yeah, very distinct cast of characters. Yeah, I'm also giving it a 9. I thought it was a fantastic issue 1.